Hey everybody. Yes, I know I'm in desperate need of a beard trim. Gotta do that when I get home probably. No, but a couple weeks ago I preached at a church called West Point Baptist Church there in West Point, Arkansas. And you can find that entire sermon on my YouTube channel at Kingdom Come with Roger Maddox. I'd love for y'all to check it out. For y'all to subscribe to the channel. I'd love to build it up there like I'm trying to build it up here. But I preached on 2 Timothy 4. Where the name of the message was "Do Work," and it talks a lot about fulfilling your do the work of an evangelist and fulfill your ministry. And it got me thinking, one of the thing about evangelism, we do that, we're really good at that as Christians. We're really good at making sure, maybe I say really good, some of us are, some of us aren't, but sometimes we make that the only goal in our Christian life is to evangelize, share the gospel, which is great. We're supposed to do that. Sometimes we forget that we're also supposed to disciple. I described it as a two-step process. Evangelism is the birthing process. You're sharing the gospel with them, and then you see people come to Christ and bringing new Christians into this world. But then a lot of times we forget there's the second part, which is the discipleship. It's kind of like if you brought a kid in the world, then completely ignored the child for his whole life. Let him fend for himself. It's not going to turn out good. And just the same way, Christians got to be, we got to be discipled. And those of us that are further along in the faith need to do the discipling while looking at someone who's further along in the faith than we are and continue to be discipled by them. And it just starts a chain on down. So, there we go. That's a little better. That way you're not looking straight up my nose. But, one thing that it got me thinking of was people who know me know I'm a huge boxing fan. I used to box when I was a young kid. When I was a teenager. Loved that sport. Still do. But Custom Motto was a legendary boxing trainer. Some would say he trained 2.5 world champions. He had the first ever two-time world heavyweight champion in Floyd Patterson. He trained him. I forget the other guy. I want to say he's a middleweight, light heavyweight, something like that. I forget what his name was. I apologize. But he trained him to a world championship. And some would say he's got a half there because he actually was the original trainer for Mike Tyson. He just passed away before Mike won the world title. Mike Tyson won the world title, but he knew he was sick and he passed the training along to I want to say it was Teddy Atlas, ended up getting fired, and Kevin Rooney, I think it was, took over. But really, that's beside the point. Whole different story, sorry. But they asked him one time, because even his fighters, even the ones, he had a whole stable of them, even the fighters that didn't become world champions, because not everybody's going to reach that. A lot of them still were great fighters. They just didn't achieve championship level. But he was asked, they asked him, how do you always have this? How are you able to do this? Have such a great stable of fighters? And he said, I find a kid who has a spark. I feed that spark until it becomes a flame. I feed that flame until it becomes a fire. I feed that fire till it becomes a roaring blaze. and he was talking about, training, pouring his life into these young fighters. We need to be that way in the church with new believers, pouring our life into them, pouring into them, discipling them, bringing them up until they're that raging fire for Jesus. If Customato can do that for fighters, we can do that for church members. We can do that for new Christians. We just got to get out there and do it. Thank you. God bless.